While we often cover the influx of asylum seekers and migrants at our southern border, this week we're turning our attention to the humanitarian crisis in Syria, where war has displaced 11 million people and counting. As the violence ramped up, hundreds of refugees got fresh starts in Arizona, where they received help from a handful of organizations. However, that's no longer the case, as we heard from Jennifer Tompkins of the Tucson Refugee Ministry.
Currently, there's no Syrian refugees that are being relocated into Tucson. Because we have a ban act on Syria, the government is not relocating any new refugees from Syria here in Tucson, which is really unfortunate because we do have quite a few Syrian refugees here, and they will not be reunited with their family members. So their family members may be back in camps in Turkey or in Jordan and waiting there to be able to be relocated. But the United States simply isn't going to be the place that they're going to be.
What are you hearing from some of the Syrian families who are in Tucson and are grappling with that reality that they may not see some of their loved ones?
Right. There's several different things that they have fear around right now. One of them is the war that's going on. Of course, the civil war has been going on for years, but what's happened now is that there's some bigger allies that are coming in. We've got Russia coming in and supporting part of them. We've got, Turkey coming in. And the few places that were safe in Syria for families now are no longer safe. And so you've got 1 million to 2 million more people that are running for the Turkish border, where Turkey already has had like 3.6 million of the refugees, the Syrian refugees there, and they just simply can't care for them. So now they're opening their borders to Greece.
Some of the images that we've seen, the stories are heartbreaking with the freezing temperatures. I mean, literally children, adults freezing to death.
Right.
There are people who are here in Arizona watching this story unfold and they want to help. So what can they do?
Right. I don't know that I have a great answer for that right now. I think that you can talk to your government officials and say, hey, we got to get involved in this. We got to be able to help with this. I think that a lot of people are feeling like the war has gone on so long and we're not really helping in the conflict. I think that it could escalate a lot more. I think that we need to be able to contact our government and get some changes happening.
You're talking locally, state, federally?
All. I think all areas of the government need to know that this is a concern for us, that we have citizens that have Syrian background, and that we love our neighbors, that we are concerned for humanity, that we're concerned for people who are in an area where there could be just mass genocide happening.
What's life like for a refugee who's resettling here in Arizona?
Yeah, so a refugee is, of course, they go through lots of trauma on their way of coming here. So you were in your home that you're really happy in and you love that space and you're surrounded by your friends and your family members and your faith community and your tribe, really. And then war comes. And one of my really good friends, she was pregnant, 8 months pregnant. War came and they were trapped 30 days in their home with young children right there in Syria, and by night ended up having to make a run for it. They ended up in a camp in Jordan where where she gave birth by herself in a tent, not surrounded by her friends or her family members. So there's these layers of things that happen, and then they're sitting there at the camp and they're being vetted over several months, maybe even years. So they have all of these interviews that are happening, trying to see, are you safe? Are you safe? Are you safe? They're really probably the safest people in all of the United States because they've been interviewed more than any other population that we have to be able to be resettled. And if they're one of the lucky few that gets resettled in the United States, this year we're only taking 18,000. They only get to know that a couple weeks before they fly. And so what happens is that they fly to the United States. They have to repay the United States for those tickets so that when they get settled and they save up enough money, they're able to repay for those tickets to come. But they only get 3 months worth of resources. And so they get, the resettlement agency brings them in, they put them into an apartment, and they give them 3 months worth of resources. And during those 3 months, they are helping them to do things like getting kids settled in school, or trying to help them find a job, or trying to help them set up for assistance. But they only have 3 months worth of resources to be able to become self-sufficient. And I don't know of anybody who can, learn the language in 3 months or be able to find a support system enough to be able to be on their own in those 3 months. So I think that's where a lot of other people are kind of coming in, school districts, community partners, nonprofits like us, to be able to help them to truly be able to resettle and be able to become successful.
Despite those obstacles, you sound hopeful.
I am hopeful. I really love this community. All refugees, but especially even the Syrians are really close to my heart because they do truly want to have community. They want to have that tribe, and they're looking at building it any way they can. They love having American friends. They want to be able to have people over to their homes. They want to be hospitable. They want to be able to connect in and give back to the community. And that's what we're finding, especially with some of the teens that we're working with. They're going and doing community projects with us, and they're really connecting in and really owning this, I'm now American, and so proud of that.